Here we go. Great. Go ahead and start recording so that way anybody who was unable to attend this evening or you want to be able to simply go back and look at some of the things that we talked about, I'll go ahead and do that. I will also share our document or our presentation that we're going to do here for you this evening, so you will have all of that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So make sure thumbs up. You guys can see my screen. We're okay? Yes? Okay. Who are we? We are the Blue Knights Drum and Bugle Corps. We actually are underneath Ascend Performing Arts. And I'll let Mark talk a little bit about that here in a second. And so we will get started here. Here we go. Mark, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, that's me in the picture on the left. So, hi, I'm Mark Arnold, and thank you everybody for coming out tonight and watching this. A little bit about myself. I've been involved with the Blue Knights uh, here in Denver since 1985. That's a long time. And through all that time working with the Blue Knights, um, one thing I can tell you with great assurity is that a lot of things have changed in the activity. You know, the buses have gotten better, the trucks have gotten bigger. The students, the members have gotten a heck of a lot more talented. The instructors have as well, and the shows have become a lot more sophisticated. But the thing that I care about the most is the underlying experience. And that is very much the same. You know, in spite of all the change, it's really about a lot of individuals who have worked hard on their craft and are very accomplished in their craft and want to be a part of something that's bigger than them and want to be a part of something that's the best in the world. And, you know, together we make amazing things happen. And as a result, turn into pretty amazing individuals who know how to work hard and who know how to care for each other. And you know, we'll always be giving 110% and understand that their responsibility is to the whole. And that experience hasn't changed a bit. And that's what I really work hard to make sure that we have. My main job, as I see it, is to create the environment where you can all be successful, where the staff can be successful and you can all grow and have the best show and experience possible. That's my job. And it's neat having been a part of the activity as long as I have to have made so many friends that I've kept, you know, from the first time I saw a drum corps in 1978 till today. These people are still my friends. And I know that you all are going to make lifetime friends as well. But all of that, and to be viewed as one of the best in the world, it's a lot of hard work and it's not easy. And, you know, our job as a staff is to push you to heights that you've never been to before and to make sure that everybody's bought into this 110%. So, you know, and by that I mean, you know, we take care of all the off the field business, and that's what a lot of this is going to be like about tonight. Taking care of all of our responsibilities and understanding what's expected of us so that when we put our musical instrument in our hand, when we start our dance, you know, when we start working with the guard, um, it's all about that. And all the worries of the rest of the world are behind us. So, you know, tonight we're going to take you through a lot of different things about our organization and about what we need from you and our expectations. And that way, when you come here at our camp this weekend, and then especially at move-ins, you know, you're ready to go and immerse yourself in what's going to be the experience of a lifetime. So Michelle, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Michelle Sariello. I'm the assistant core director. I am relatively new to the drum corps world. I started in 2016 with Blue Coats. I was a volunteer there for a handful of years. I worked on their food truck. I was their assistant merch manager. And then I was able to be a part of Blue Nights. My first year ended up being our COVID year, so it was a little bit of a different type of situation. But I came back the next year and I was a part of the administration team. I've been the volunteer coordinator and had a couple of different roles there. And then last year was my first year as the assistant core director. Um, and then continuing in with that role this year. Before my life as a in the drum corps world, I was actually a teacher. I taught fourth and fifth grade for about 8 years, and so this has kind of been a little bit of a transition. It's been wonderful. I have a 2-year-old son who actually gets to kind of grow up in this world. He gets to tour around with us. If your kids were there last year, they know he kind of is a little crazy. So he is really enjoys kind of this environment. And so one of the things that we really try to make sure Mark touched on is that um, when you bring your kids to us, we are a family. We are the Blue Knights family, and we try to make sure that that environment is welcoming and supportive, and we take care of your kids like they're our kids. And it is very hard, very tough physically, mentally, and we do everything that we can in order for them to be successful. So that being said, um, I wanted to touch base really quickly on our April camp. It's a little different than our past camps, actually, because we are at Prairie View High School versus Adams City. Hopefully your performers have already registered for camp, and if they are flying in, that they have already submitted their shuttle request. I did this evening send it out to everybody and say, hey, if your name is not on here, please make sure that you should submit a shuttle request so I can make sure that everybody, has the ability to get from the airport to our camp. That is something that we make sure here at Blue Knights that we provide for our performers is transportation to and from the airport. So that way we make sure that everybody is safe getting, home and back to us. So if they have not registered yet, please make sure that they go to bkx.org. I'll have a link and all that stuff at the end as well. So that'll be there. I did give kind of a mini checklist. Performers have seen this from me 1,000 times by now, but it's always a good job to touch in with parents as well. Before they come to camp, obviously they need to register for camp, sign up for their shuttle. If they are ordering a jug from us, it is due by the end of camp, and we have the order form on their member portal, which we'll go over later. They do not have to order it from us. We try to make it a little cheaper, or try to make it a little cheaper for them, as well as they can pick it up at move-in, so that way they don't have to travel with their jug through the airport and all that kind of stuff. So if they're going to order it, that needs to be done by the end of April camp. And then our Feed the Nights fundraisers, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. There are 2 components to it. Those are needing to be done before April camp. So that way we can get those finished and things like that. Mark, do you have anything else to say about April camp?
I saw a quick note, somebody asking what time does the shuttle leave the airport. We haven't really scheduled that. That's why we need you to sign up for the shuttles so that we can schedule those appropriately. But usually the first one will leave at 6 and the next one will leave right close to 7. But we'd really rather everybody leave at 6 so we can get started on time at 7. So then we have a van that'll be making, the exception runs if somebody has a late flight or something that happens and you get delayed. Just it's all on the shuttle request form. what to do. So if you go there, you'll be able to find out all the information on that. And our fundraiser is a mandatory fundraiser that we do every year with the Corps. And, just keep in mind that we know that this comes at great expense and great cost to you, but the fees that you pay cover about a little over 50% of the actual cost of doing this. So we rely on our fundraisers to help us out with that. So thanks, Michelle.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about our summer schedule, especially those of you who are kind of new to the drum corps world. I want to make sure that you are comfortable and confident in kind of knowing what their summer is going to look like. So we are going to have move-ins on May 26th. Normally we do move in the Friday before, but because of lots of graduations happening, things like that, Mark and I took quite a bit of time to map out whether it be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, to see when kind of the least expensive flights were going to be to try and help out families. And we found that because it is Memorial Day weekend, that Sunday, the flights were significantly cheaper. So we tried to take advantage of that. So move-ins are going to be on May 26th. They will fly into Denver, Colorado, or driving in if that's what they choose to do. We are going to leave for tour the first week of July. I know a ton of people are asking for the specific housing schedule and things like that for spring training, and then as we move into tour. Mark and I are working very, very hard on pinning down those specific schools and those specific dates for you guys. And as soon as we get that information, we are going to send it out for you. Just know that during spring training, we are at a couple of different schools throughout the Denver area and then down in Pueblo. And so we will give you those information, give you those schools as we kind of see those. We will be having a couple of send-off shows during that time for spring training, and we'll be sure to give you all of that information as soon as we can. We will leave for tour. The evening of July 1st is actually the date that we anticipate on leaving. And so as you can see, this is kind of our summer tour. It is a little crazy. Whether it's every day, every other day, we might be in a different state, a different city. So we move a lot. I think, Mark, I can't even remember. I think it's like between 8,000 and 10,000 miles over the summer that we travel. We start, as you can see, we go up to Oregon, Washington, back down Utah is our show. Colorado is our show. Kansas, Texas is our show. We do kind of our Texas tour. We go over Louisiana, Alabama. We go up the East Coast, Pennsylvania, up to New York. And then we make our way back to Indianapolis for championships August 8th through 10th. So we basically have your kiddos from May 26th to August 10th, whether or not there's a couple of travel days in there. So it is a long time. We understand that it's a long time. We know that, that can be hard, especially for those first year performers who are kind of coming out with us. So we are absolutely here to answer any of those questions for you. I know one of the big questions that a lot of people have is, my kid is going to graduate on May 30th. What do I do? And so we absolutely want your performers to attend their graduation. It is very important. We understand that it is important. Just talk to us. Let us know. Sometimes families are just a couple of days late to move-ins, and then they just kind of join us. Sometimes if graduation is a little later into the move-in time, they might come and then leave and come back. All those things are fine as long as they talk to us and we know kind of their schedule. We will make sure that they get to and from the airport. And so we just need to, know those things as well as their caption head, so that way everybody understands of where they are at all times. If for whatever reason your performer is going to leave kind of our bubble, we need to know. We are responsible for your child every day that they are with us. So if they need to go pick up a medication, if they have an eye appointment, anything like that, we have to know that they are kind of leaving our little circle, so that we can make sure that they are safe and accounted for at all times. Mark, anything to add on that one?
No, we do understand that the members, if you're graduating, some people's schools don't get out until, after we move in, but the bottom line is we need you there every second we can get you there. We do have some people moving in on the 26th, and then they'll, rehearse with us for 3 or 4 days and then go home, do their graduation and come back. And that's kind of the commitment that we expect. We, um, we understand that, it's an important time for family, but it's also an important time for a huge commitment that you've made to the Blue Knights and the other members of the Corps. Um, yes, there are fees for all of our camps. That answers another question. So, Michelle, carry on.
Got it. Um, oh, hold on. Sorry. Making sure people are joining.
I
So
could
summer
also
operate, huh?
jump in a little bit, Michelle, on the spring training.
Yeah.
We do our first 2 weeks are going to be at Prairie View High School and then Adams City High School, which are both schools in the northern area of the Denver metro area, closer to the airport. So to help us accommodate airport ins and outs. Then when we moved down into southern Colorado to the Pueblo area for the last 3 weeks, those specific days of moving is what we're almost positive where they are, but we got to get final okays from all the schools. But those last 3 weeks down in Pueblo, any flights should come in and out of Colorado Springs while we're down there. So pay attention to the schedule and just understand that we need you there. Family vacations. That's not a good excuse for us for people to be missing rehearsals. Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. So yeah, that kind of answers our first one of where performers will be for spring training. If they are flying in, oh, can you hear me? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. My microphone level was not moving up and down. So if they are flying in and out and you are unsure of where they need to fly into, just reach out to us or have your performer reach out to us. We will absolutely give them that information. What does the food look like? So this is a question that we get a lot. And it's kind of hard. Mark is snickering at me because it is kind of hard to answer this question, but so we do feed them 4 times a day. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. And snack really does, it is really a fourth meal. We make sure that your performers get plenty of food, plenty of calories in order to be physically fit and have the energy that they need to rehearse for 10 hours, 12 hours a day, right? So we do everything we can to help support that. Our food, I mean, it varies. We are feeding 250 people 4 times a day. So it really does depend on, we're going to do a food run and what's on, sale at this Costco business center here or what's on good here at this Restaurant Depot. But we do make sure that we provide the dietary needs for your performers. We make sure that they get their protein. We make sure that we get their carbs and things like that in order for them to be able to meet the demands that we have of the drum corps rehearsal and shows. If your performer has a dietary restriction, we ask that during our camps. We will do the best to our ability to accommodate those. Sometimes we might have a sit-down conversation with your performer just so we really make sure that we understand. If they are allergic to something, we make sure that they are safe there. That kind of going towards if they have some type of medication that they need to take along with their diet or things like that, we will make sure that that is taken care of. The performer is responsible for remembering and taking that medication, but we will make sure that it is accessible to them, whether it needs to be refrigerated or with our medical team and things like that. We talking about our medical care on tour.
Right.
Oh,
So, yeah, one
sorry, go
thing
ahead, Mark.
about the food is, you know, we are athletes, musical athletes, performing athletes, and we know that the nutrition that it takes to perform at the top level is something we take very seriously. There are certain times, like uh, if you're a vegan, for example, we would expect you to bring along your own protein supplements because we can't guarantee that we're going to be able to always provide, a custom meal for everybody. Not at all, right? So with vegans, vegetarians, specific allergies, nut allergies, you know, they're kind of the usual in the box concerns we can take care of, but you absolutely need to communicate those to us. And we may suggest that we find ways to get you, or, you bring your own extra supplements. The bottom line is you as the performer or your, your student performer is going to be responsible to take care of themselves on this tour. And we'll provide all the support around them, but it's up for the members to advocate for themselves and communicate if they have needs that we need to accommodate. Um, on to medical care, Michelle.
Yeah. So what does our medical care look like on tour? Hopefully, your performers have been taking part in our health and wellness program throughout their off season. Alan Whitfield is our lead medical person on tour. He has done a great job with kind of providing a program for our performers in order to kind of get ready for tour. He provides lots of tips. If anyone has a concern, they can reach out to him, things like that. He will actually be at our April camp doing kind of an in-person PT session and health and wellness thing for the performers to be able to meet if they haven't met him before, see him again. He was with us last year. But he is only one part of our medical team. We have multiple people throughout the summer who are kind of on our team. We have nurses who have been with us or are on call. We have EMTs. We have athletic trainers. We have all types of different people to help make sure that your performers have what they need in order to be successful. We do also have a team of kind of our telehealth that runs in the background. So at any point in time, if we have any kind of mental health crisis or we have a concern for a certain injury, things like that, we have many people that we can reach out to. And I know Mark can touch a little bit more on this in a second in order to make sure that your performer gets what they need. We do also, if something happens and your performer is in need of medical attention, or it seems like it is an ongoing occurrence for some type of injury or something like that, we do utilize urgent cares. We try our best to make sure that they are urgent cares and like med checks versus emergency rooms because we know that's a little easier on your pockets. But that is why we do ask for all of your performers' insurance information. If they are minors, we make sure that someone of our staff stays with them in order to speak with the doctor and things like that. You will always be notified in kind of that regard. We do I'm trying to choose my words. Drum corps is very hard. It is very, very hard mentally. It is so hard physically. And so we, as a staff, try very hard to make sure that we set your performer up for success before they ever walk on the field. So the reason that Alan and our wellness team has put together these programs is so they can start to prepare their mind and their bodies for this tour, which is grueling. It's so, so hard. If you have a concern about anything, whether it's a past thing, what you're dealing with now, please make sure you reach out to Mark and I, to Alan, and we want to know this before the beginning of tour. Like, we want to know before you step onto the field May 26th, that we know what's going on. And sometimes we have had to have hard conversations that maybe this is not the year for you, because we do care much more than just your performer in this season, and we care about your performer as a whole, your child as a whole, and for many years to come, not just this summer, right? And so we want to make sure that everyone who is on the field is physically able to be on the field, and we are not hurting them in any way other than the tired muscles and the soreness of what comes along with drum corps. With kind of all that happening, your performer has to have a physical done before they step on the field. If they come to move-ins and they don't have a physical done, they cannot rehearse with us until we bring them to an urgent care or somewhere to get it done. It takes way too much time. They lose, important things that they need to have done. Please make sure that they have their physical done before coming. We'll talk more about it, but it is on their member portal. And you have all the information you need in order to get that done. If you have any questions about it, please ask one of us, ask Alan, and we will be sure to get that answered for you. Mark, do you have anything else to say on medical care?
No, I think you've covered it. You've scared everybody enough about how hard this is. I think, as performers, you're all capable of doing this and performing at this level. And, it's not superhuman. It is difficult. And the constant grind of it day after day after day. There won't be a summer go by where you won't ask yourself, why in the world did I sign up for this, right? But no great endeavor is without its sacrifice and without that extra effort that it takes to do something special. We know you can do it. We're there to support you through it, and take care of you along the way. But you have to commit. And, so parents, I know there's both members and parents on here. Don't be surprised if you get a phone call at some point that goes, get me out of here. Yours is to be supportive and just understand that we all will feel that at some point or another. So don't overreact to that. And if you have concerns, reach out to Michelle or myself, and we'll make sure we talk through it.
Yeah. So who will kind of be teaching our performers? We have dozens of world-class instructors from all over the country. And actually, we have some instructors actually coming from all over the world. We have some instructors coming from Japan. So hopefully your performers have had many interactions with your instructors here. Every section has had assignments, musical assignments, things like that. Some of them have had visual assignments. So we make sure that the people who are in front of your performers are the best of the best. We make sure that we go through heavy background checks. We make sure that we talk with their references. They are from fantastic schools all over the country. And yeah, I can't say enough, wonderful things about our staff. Our brass staff is so wonderful. They have worked together. They are this close-knit group, family of themselves. A lot of them, a lot of actually our whole staff, they're a lot of our alumni. So it's really, they've gone from, performer to up to staff, and they've, done great things with their own schools and their communities, and then they're able to kind of bring it back here to Blue Knights for the summer. So, Mark?
No, I agree. They are, professionals, and we do vet them. And they all take safe sport training. They all understand the policies and, it's a good group that's really invested in making sure that we have a safe environment here in the Blue Knights.
Yeah. So how do we get from one place to another? And this question really kind of talks about our tour section of the summer. So while we are in spring training, we do stay in the schools, very similar to camps. They'll stay in the gyms or something similar. As we go from one school to another, we will have buses that bring them from Prairie View to Adams City or wherever it is. And then once we get to tour life of traveling across the country, we do have 3-member buses. We've been with Heartland for many years, and so we have drivers that some of our drivers we've had for since I've been here, at least. I know a lot longer than that. And so we have our performers. They are on their buses. They have assigned seats to make sure that everyone is safe and we know everyone is accounted for. Minors sit with minors, and we make sure that that is taken care of. We have a drum major on each bus, at least one drum major on each bus to make sure that if there are any concerns, anything like that, performers have somebody to go to along with their caption heads, staff, Mark and I, things like that. But we will, and like you saw with our tour, I mean, we are going to a different city almost every day. A lot of times it is a rehearsal or a show day, and then we kind of pack up and then we go to the next site and then we go to the next site. One thing that I do want to touch on is it happens in every corps, it happens in every summer. But things happen, like a bus is going to break down probably at some point. We travel, like I said, 10,000 miles across the country. Our drivers do a phenomenal job of upkeep and things like that, regular checks throughout the summer on their buses. But things happen. And so it's one of those things of, hey, my kiddo said that they're stuck on the side of the road. Is everything okay? And I want to assure you that we are doing everything possible in order to make sure that your kids are safe and that they're going to get to the next destination as quickly as we can. But sometimes things happen and we do, just ask that you are a little bit flexible. We'll talk with the performers the same thing, like be flexible with us. We know what we're doing. We've done this for a handful of years. Mark has done it for a few decades. So it is not new for us of what, may happen. And so if there is ever an emergency, if there's ever anything kind of out of the ordinary, we will make sure that you are informed and we will make sure that we do everything possible for you to be in communication and know that your child is in good hands every step of the way.
Yeah, we follow when, we charter our buses from a bus company. When we're on the road, we have 12 vehicles, traveling thousands of miles. And just like your car, when you're on your family vacay, you just might have an issue with it, right? And so, as Michelle mentioned, we have a whole series of protocols. If we have a breakdown, if we're alongside the highway, there's a whole series of events that take place to make sure we're back on the road and that we're safe. And one thing that we don't have time to do in a situation like that is answer 1,000 text messages, right? So we'll rest assured we're doing everything we can to get the situation taken care of. There may be a section later about emergency communications, but I always love to tell this story because it's very illustrative of, what we all need to be aware of can happen out on the road. It was one morning, it was early in the morning, like 5 in the morning, and the bus drivers were talking on the radio and I don't know, there may be a you know, if somebody's been drinking too much in a car up here ahead of us, let's keep our eyes open, be careful, you know, and then sure enough, soon the bus driver goes, well, he's exiting now. Oh my word, he clipped my bus. Is what it meant is the car barely touched the bus, and then exited. And one of the people on tour posted on the family chat, oh my God, a drunk driver just hit the bus. And that was radio silence, right? So you can imagine the panic back home that took place. I mean, when literally what it did was scratched one of the lug nuts on the bus. So we all have to be careful and not overreact. Rest assured, if we have an emergency communication protocol that we'll share with you. So we'll take care and just trust that we've done this a little bit, and we'll be doing our very best to make sure that everything works well out on the road. Last thing is, 2 summers ago, I know our members, we had to double up, I think, 4 times, which meant we had a bus go down on the side of the road. And we had to cram everybody into the other buses and get them off the road. Last summer, not one single time, right? So you never know. You never know. That's just the way it is out on the road. Michelle.
Yeah. So talking about the different type of days, we do have show days, rehearsal days, and things that we call free days. And so let's talk a little bit about those so that you kind of understand what your performer is doing during those days. Show days are pretty typical. For the most part, performers wake up, we do breakfast, they'll have a morning block, they'll do lunch. Sometimes they have a little bit of an afternoon block, but we do what we call EPL, EPAC load. We head over to the show site. They have their warm-up time. They do their show, and then they usually have a snack of some sort after the show, kind of at the food truck, things like that. At the moment, right now, there is usually time for you to wave and say hi to your performer if you come to one of those shows. But please know that they do have jobs. They do have tour jobs that they have to get done. And one of the things that is so important is we have a lot of long drives. We have a lot of drives where we are very close to the tipping point of our driver hours. So that means that we have to leave the parking lot on time. We have to have, we call them butts and seats. We have to have the performers in their spots ready to go is when they are supposed to. So please, if your performer is like, hey, hi mom, hey dad, sorry, I gotta go. It's because they're trying to make sure that they get everything done that they are supposed to. Rehearsal days are exactly what they sound like. Performers usually wake up around 8. We do make sure that if it's been a long drive, things like that, we have a formula to make sure that your kids, we try to give them adequate sleep, whether, they have some of the time sleep on the bus, and then they get some more floor time sleeping, in the school, things like that. They'll have rehearsal time for the most part, unless something crazy happens. A few years ago it did. Rehearsals are open, so you are more than welcome to come watch your performer rehearse. Keeping in mind that they are working, they are professionals in their activities. So they're wave to you from afar, and then they got to keep going. So but you are more than welcome to come and watch. I love when, families come and watch, because then I can usually convince them to come in, help volunteer with us, which we will talk about a little bit later. We always need hands. I promise you, we always need hands. So you are more than welcome to come watch rehearsal, stop and help a little bit, on our food truck. You can feed your kid, you can talk with them, hang out with them during a meal break, and, make sure that they are doing well. And then we have free days. I hesitate sometimes of calling them free days because they can look very different based on where we are in tour and what needs to be done. Majority of the time on when we call free days, it's when they are able to do their laundry. So we try to get laundry done. Usually it runs about every 12 to 14 days of when we're able to do laundry days. And sometimes we are able to give them some free time on the other part of the day. So whether that might be they do laundry and then we are able to bring them to like Northfield Mall area where there's, a movie theater and a Target and things like that. They're able to hang out around. We try to make sure that they are, somewhere where there are things to do. Because I mean, I'll say it again, like what we do is hard, right? So we understand that there are some times when everyone needs kind of a mental break and be able to just enjoy each other and have community and bond with each other. The past couple of years, we've had someone donate a pool day. So they were able to do their laundry in the morning, and then we went and had pool time, and they were able to, to have fun and relax and things like that. And then the next day they get up and they start work all over again. Those days, it just kind of depends on where we are and what needs to be done. So one of the free days that we call them is like after San Antonio. So like San Antonio is a huge show for those of you who don't know. We call it Texas Tour when we're down in Texas, and then there's San Antonio, and then every corps imaginable has a free day the day after San Antonio. And you would think that we take over the entire city. I mean, you walk down the Riverwalk and you say, hey, I mean, and it's just every corps is out there. The kids love it. It's a fantastic time. A lot of parents go to that show and they might have a hotel room. Their performer can take a nap in a real bed for a couple of hours. It's their favorite thing to do. But there is time for you to be able to be with your performer if you so choose. Great question in the chat talking about going back to laundry. So I recommend bringing like Tide pods and things like that versus the actual detergent. We do try and make sure that they have time to like buy things before, but it doesn't always happen. So I do recommend bringing things like Tide pods, just like in a little Ziploc baggie, things like that. We do also do our very best to plan out laundry days with laundry facilities that take card versus a bunch of quarters. Now, some people prefer to do quarters, and that's fine. They're very heavy. I don't like them. It's whatever. So like last year, what happened was 3 of our laundry sites took cards and 1 did not. So we kind of split the performers up of, if you have coins, please sign up for this laundry, thing here. And then everyone else, went to other ones and things like that. So we do try to make that happen. Sometimes when we're in the middle of Pueblo, Colorado, it's a little harder to find laundry facilities that only take card, but we do try our best to accommodate that. Any other information, Mark, on our show rehearsal free laundry day?
No, just really make sure that you double check our schedule before you plan your family vacation to a place where maybe we're not.
Yes,
so double check.
San Antonio free day is usually a normal one that kind of happens, but absolutely talk to your performer, because I don't think it was last year, but the year before, we weren't actually in San Antonio. We were a little bit out, things like that. And especially during like spring training days, those days might change, right? Those laundry free times, they might adjust. If we have our design team in and they are really working hard on the show and we're supposed to have a free day, you can probably bet that we're going to adjust the free day to be the next day in order to get all the time we can with our design team. We try to plan that out as early as we can, but things happen. Sometimes we want to do a laundry day, and the laundry facilities, we had this happen last year. The laundry facilities had like a community event where it was like free laundry for the city. So we did not want to go on that day because there would be no time for us to get our laundry done. So please work with us, check with us, check with your performer. They usually know, and be able to do that. Um, what happens if my performer needs something? This is definitely something that I want to touch on because it can be very difficult. While your performer is in spring training in Colorado, what we will do, or what we call mail drops. So we will give you the address of our core hall, our warehouse, where you can send things to there. And then we will go and grab those things and bring them to your performer. However, it does not happen every day. And when we get down to Pueblo, it happens very less often just because it takes so much time. We have to bring someone. I mean, it's a 5-hour trip depending on, what else we're doing, things like that. So if they need something, please work with them to see, can they hang on until a laundry day and then they can go to the Target or the Walmart to grab whatever they need. If you do need to send them something, we will give you the information of where you can send it. If it's something like really important, like medication, or their air mattress popped and so they don't have anywhere to sleep, please reach out to us. Let us know. We will make sure that your performer is taken care of the best we can, but we don't know if we don't know. So just let us know. As we go on tour, what typically happens is we call it first tour and second tour, really, because we kind of go out west and we do some shows, and then we come back to Denver, Colorado for our huge Drums on the Rockies show. So we call that one kind of the first tour. Usually, during first tour, if your performer needs something, we still send it to the core hall. Because what will happen is when we come back to Denver, we will pick it up on our way and we will make sure that your performer gets it. Then once we leave for second tour, we will try, and I do say try because sometimes it is very difficult. We will try to do a drop in either or both of San Antonio timeline or in Allentown timeline. That's where we really reach out to our volunteers and we say, hey, who has a van where we can say, you can send something here and they can come and bring it to you. But I will reiterate that please don't send something that your performer can pick up on their own when we go to a shopping time for them to redo things. We will give them shopping trips where they can pick up more toothpaste, more deodorant, shampoo. I mean, all those things they will have the ability to do that. So just please be mindful of all the things that you were sending. There are 165 of your beautiful performers. If everybody sends something, it makes a bad day for administration team. So please be mindful of that. And we will go from there. Obviously, again, if there's something that they need, if there's something that is imperative that they must get immediately, then let us know. Along those lines, if your performer needs like a refill of their prescription medication or something like that, work with us, because what we will do is we can tell you where we're going to be. You can call that into your pharmacy and then we can go get it. We can bring our performer to go get it if they have to come with us, if to purchase it, whatever it is that we need to happen. We will make sure that they are able to get their medication. We just need to know ahead of time and not, hey, my mom called in this prescription. I know we leave in 2 hours, but can we go to this pharmacy that's 45 minutes away? Please don't do that to us. So we will make sure that that happens if you let us know and we can coordinate that together.
If I just add one thing,
Mm-hmm.
as far as mail drops, I'm telling you, if you pulled up a 16-foot U-Haul truck to our office, you probably wouldn't get all the mail in there that gets sent to the office to deliver to the members. So if you want to volunteer your house and your garage for a mail drop in San Antonio, we'd love to have you do that. But so it's kind of a beg to Don't send cases of Gatorade and cookies and, you know, in a great big box to, along with the shampoo bottle that's going to blow up and make the box soggy and everything will spill out. And, you know, we are not going to ship that from our office if it gets there late. We're not going to try and play catch up shipping as we're traveling around the country, right? So keep your boxes of reasonable size. Understand that it's a lot, but if you have college papers, you know, scholarship at, you know, things that are legal that you need signed, talk to Michelle, talk to us directly, and we'll make sure we get those. But be judicious with the size of packages. You have no idea how much we get. So thank
And
you.
I do understand, and I know all the performers on here, but like, but wait, I do understand your care packages. Your kid is having a hard time, and you send them, you know, a letter in their favorite candy. Like I understand that those do happen, and I promise all of you performers, I'm not saying that your parents are not allowed to send that. I promise you, I'm not. But you also have seen the huge tubs that we bring, and there's like 4 or 5 of them every time we go to the core hall. And so just there's in moderation, right? Like just be smart with whatever we're doing. That's all we're asking. Okay.
And I'll eat all the cookies. So
Right. Okay, so recommended on best shows to attend. This they're all wonderful, right? The shows are fantastic. We would love for you to go to all of them, but we know that most people cannot go to all of them. So we try to pull out a couple of them that are great. Our Drums on the Rockies is our show. It is a great show. It is. I'll let Mark talk a little bit about this because this is, you know, his baby and it's wonderful and in perfect in all the ways. But then we also have our San Antonio, which we talked about a little bit before. Um, the reason that I think that this is a great show to attend is one, it's really the first time that like all the cores come together. It's a huge show. It is inside and it is air conditioned, which is nice. And then you have the free day afterwards. So that is one of the reasons that I think that if you're going to travel somewhere, that it could be a good show to go to. And then obviously championships, right? Like when we come to Indy and they've worked all summer long and they've made it to the end. The light is at the end of the tunnel. And we have DCI championships. We have, prelims, semifinals, and finals. We do have tickets for these, and I did link this here. I will send this presentation out to you. You can also go to our ascendperformingarts.org /events, and it will come up as well. But we do have the different tickets that you're able to purchase, things like that. If you're looking for tickets for like a different show, that is not something that is not our show, whether that's Utah, Fort Collins, or Canyon, Texas, you can go to dci.org and you can filter Blue Nights and it'll pull up all of the shows that Blue Nights are at. And then you can purchase those tickets through their website if it's not necessarily our show. So that is kind of there. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit more specific about Drums on the Rockies?
yeah, Drums on the Rockies is our show. It's also a huge fundraiser for us, but it's probably the most beautiful stadium on the entire tour up in Fort Collins, Canvas Stadium. You can get tickets linked through our website, ascendperformingarts.org or blueknights.org. And then there's the Hilton Hotel, which is literally right across the street from the stadium. That we have a big block of rooms at that you can even go on right now and book those rooms. They're already less expensive than what you can get online. So consider doing that for Drums on the Rockies, Fort Collins, Canvas Stadium. Then the next Sunday, that next day, will be pretty much a free day, but we'll have to all leave town at the appropriate time. But we'll move down to Denver that night after the show so that we're within a safer drive to a safer drive to the West Texas show the next day. But a lot of parents will take their members with them that Saturday night after the show and then show up down in Denver. We're pretty flexible about that. Let them stay in the Hilton with you. They'd probably love you for it. And so that's a neat show, and the others are great. So let's keep moving.
Yeah, I do want to do. I also linked on Flow Marching up here on the top right. It is a subscription service, but and they don't have every show on there. They have like a list of things for you to be able to see. It is getting better. Some people don't like flow marching, but it gives you the opportunity to watch your performer on quite a few of the different shows that we're going to be at. So you can take a look at it. We're not affiliated with it in any way, but I want to give parents an option to be able to see their child if they're not coming to a show. Okay, volunteering. I will try to talk quickly through this, but it is near and dear to my heart, and it is very important. And I say it every time I talk to parents, we cannot function our best of the best without you, right? We can get down the road maybe, but it is not going to be the best environment and situation for your performer if we don't have help along the way. So there are many different ways that you can help us. We always need help for uniform help during spring training, things like that. That will be talked about later, Lisa, things. Driving is a huge one. It's usually my hardest to fill because we do drive overnight for the most part. But if you are willing and if you are looking for something to do, please reach out and say, hey, I can drive the brand new, it's beautiful pickup truck that we have, or one of our vans, things like that. Please let me know. We ask that you are 25 and older, clean driving record, all the things. So that's there. Food truck, wonderful place to be able to volunteer. You get to see your kid go through the line. They're starving. They say hello, I love you, thank you. Sometimes performers will skip to the other side of the line so they don't get food from their mom or dad. And then all their friends go to you. And so then you get to call them out, and then it's a big thing, and then it's fine. Then the next time they go to your line, so it's okay. So food truck is wonderful. Donations, if you are wanting to donate, fruit is always super welcome. Gatorade, popsicles when we get down, we get to the Texas tour, the heat of wherever. Donations are wonderful. We do also have a Feed the Nights program, which we will talk about, where you can donate there. You can also donate meal specific things. Always wonderful. Last year, I think we had a couple of pizza nights. We had like a barbecue one time, Chipotle one time. So those are always, wonderful surprises and treats for performers who, have drum corps food all day long. So that's nice. Merch help is also wonderful. I do have, and hopefully you've been getting my emails. If you haven't, please let me know. We have our volunteer sign up genius. We did just launch our sign up genius calendar for the entire spring training. And so if you are interested in helping out, it's at the end, but I do have the link that you can click on to be able to volunteer. If you are coming to April camp and you haven't signed up to volunteer yet, please sign up to volunteer and help out. It's wonderful. But yeah, I got my start on volunteering with Blue Coats. I started on the food truck. It is also difficult, but it was my favorite place to be. That food truck is really the heart of our drum corps family. I mean, kids, you just come there if you need something, and someone is always there, and they're smiling and helpful, and they, want to make sure your child is taken care of. So it is a fantastic time. You are more than welcome to volunteer for an hour, a day, a week, a tour, if you would like to. We do have, if you are touring with us, whether, it's a week, 2 weeks, things like that, we do have a volunteer vehicle for you, so you also get to sleep while we are driving, and that way you are beautiful rested for the next day ahead. So we do make sure that you are taken care of, in that way. So please reach out if you have any questions at all. Ask me, and we can go from there. So, Mark, do you have anything else to do on volunteers?
We operate on parents and volunteers and help. So join us. It'll be the experience of your lifetime.
The kids love seeing you. I mean, you're band parents anyways, right? Like you understand that community and the band family and things like that. My mom, my mother-in-law has been a band parent for decades now, and she just volunteered WGI without even like seeing anyone that she knows, her kids, just because band parenting is in the blood, right? It never goes away. So please help us. And we will, oh, sorry, people coming in. We will make sure that you have a fit for what you want to do and to be able to help. So, okay, fundraisers. So Feed the Knights, like Mark said, is our mandatory fundraiser for the year. It is a little different this year because we are adding an online component to it. So in years past, and still this year, what we ask you to do is to provide 10 names with unique addresses that we are able to send a brochure, a flyer to be able to say, if you are interested in donating to our Feed the Knights program, here's how you can do that. We give them an envelope. They can put in a check or some sort, and then be able to just send it right back to us. It's already pre-labeled. It's super easy. So we do ask for 10 unique addresses. Sometimes we have kiddos who will give us one address and then 9 people are in that same address. It kind of defeats the purpose. So please, 10 unique addresses. We did add email addresses into that area as well, so that way, we are able to reach them via email. I know that a lot of people now, they prefer to donate online. So it makes it super quick. They can click the link and then be able to go. The part that's different is through Colorado Gives, which is our fundraising platform. Performers are asked to create a page, if you will, a profile. It's already very much set up for them. They have a template that they are able to do. They adjust it a little bit to make sure that it, has their name. We do ask the performers to only put their last name in their instrument, so we're not putting out, their specific names all over the web, things like that. But what we are asking is that the goal is for $200 a member. So we have had, some performers have raised that and gone above and beyond, which is wonderful. We do have some members who have created their online platform, but they haven't sent it out to anybody yet. So you're able to put on all of your social media. You're able to email it out to all your friends and family. Your goal is $200 to be able to raise that. Like Mark said, our fees are 50% of what, it costs in order to get your kids throughout the summer. So we do ask that you participate in this fundraiser. I have told performers it is due before April camp. It is due before I see their eyeballs Friday evening. I will sit them in the cafeteria Friday evening during snack, and we can do it together. I will go back into my teacher mode and we will get it done. So please make sure that they have it done. If you are unsure, if they are unsure, ask me. In reality, they have a sheet where I have clicked off everyone who has completed it. But for whatever reason, if it is not clicked off or if they are unsure, ask me and I will let you know if it is completed or not. Mark, anything on our Feed the Knights?
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Pre-move-in checklist, super simple. All of your members have this. And I will go over the portal very quickly for those of you who have not seen it for whatever reason. These are the things that your performer needs to have before they move in. Physical form, we talked about. Feed the Knights. upload their ID or birth certificate. It is a form on the member portal. I'll show you. Super simple. DCI just says you have to prove how old they are, so they're not 28 and still marching in your court. Drug order, we talked about. If they're ordering through us, they don't have to. We try to make it simple and cheaper for you. So if you are, go ahead and do that. Completed tuition. Your tuition is due really on May 15th. That is the last date of their payment. Some performers have been contracted a little later, and so that minimum of 1,000 might have been more. I have contacted every performer that owes more than the normal 1,200 in May to confirm that it's going to be able to begin. Please, please, please make sure that their tuition is completed before they come to move-ins. Okay, it really needs to be done. We have to be able to purchase our buses and buy them food and all these things that, you know, we rely on your member tuition to be able to do a lot of those things. Packing list, I will show you. It's on the member portal. Performers also have it not on the member portal. I've given it out to them. Blue Knights roster is super simple. Drum majors have put out, please, you know, give a picture of your face and your name so you can get to know each other. Safe Sport is something that all performers, staff, and volunteers, I am upping you. Those of you who took Safe Sport last year, you did the volunteer Safe Sport last year. I am going to require volunteers to kind of do the next level up this year so that everyone is doing the same one. Everyone is aware of what all of our policies are for Safe Sport. So that has not gone out yet. I did just get the enrollment keys for everyone because we do, as an organization, provide that. So we eat that cost to be able for your performers. So please don't buy it. I have the key for them so that they can do it for free on their end. So I will be emailing that out. It has to be done before move-ins. It's basically, a lot of you have probably done something similar. Is watch a video, answer some questions. Be nice. So shuttle form, if they're flying into Denver, I just need to know that they're flying into Denver and we'll get them to our camp. While we are right here, I'm just going to go ahead real quick. You guys can see this member portal that's up here. So this is Lainey's. So I asked her if I could use her member portal as an example. So as you can see, going across the top, my ensembles, great. This is what I want you to be able to see. Payments. This is new this year that we've been able to allow you to see all the payments that you have done, the time that they've posted, everything like that. If your performer received a scholarship, it will also show up on here as well. Those performers who did receive a scholarship, keep in mind, remember that your scholarship will be distributed after their last payment of whatever that is that they owe, and then we will be able to distribute your scholarship. So keep that in mind. But this is what I wanted to really make sure that everyone saw. If your child has not shown you, if you go under forms, go under Drum and Bugle Corps. So they have the checklist that I've given you. They have the identification form where they need to upload their ID or birth certificate. Here's the thing for their jugs to be able to purchase. Here's tips for new marchers. The drum majors and leadership team put together a whole document for if you're a new marcher, this is something you might want to know. Here's your packing list. I put up their performer graphics. So if they want to say, hey, I'm a Blue Knights member, here are their graphics. And here's the physical form for them to be able to do that. All this information is on their member portal. If, for whatever reason, your performer logs in and this forms button does not exist, which I have found it has happened to a few of you, let me know. It takes me 30 seconds and I can click it on there for you and make sure that it's on there. So when you go to upload things like your physical form, for example, you go to My Files, you click physical form, you upload your physical form that you have completed, you hit upload, and then it's done. So everything that you should need is on their member portal. So if you did not know that this existed, stare your performer down and say, what is this? I need to know all the information. Okay? Anything, do you want anything on the member portal, Mark?
Nope.
Okay. We're almost done, guys, I promise. Okay. Oh, last page. Look at that. So here's useful resources for you guys. We have a Facebook page, Blue Knights Family. It is it's been one of my pet peeves. It is a different Facebook page than like last year when it has like 15,000 people on it, right? And so I was like giving out information to people that it didn't apply to because they're not currently in our drum corps. So this is of the Blue Knights Facebook family page for 2024. Go ahead and click it and you can join the page. And like, for example, I put out the Zoom information for this meeting tonight. So please, if you're not a part of that, go ahead and click that. Register for camps at bkx.org. Here's your shuttle request form. If you don't have it or your performer says, I have no idea where it is, I promise you they do, but it's also here if they need it. Parent information page is, in my opinion, very important. We did drastically change it this year. So we went ahead and tried to put a lot of things on here for your parent information. We have your Facebook group, we have your fact page, email us. We have information about auditions and preseason, that's kind of over. Packing list, your ticket things, a lot of stuff is on here for information for you. So if you have any questions, check here first and see if it's on there. And then last, volunteer page. This, if you are interested in volunteering, we have our calendar here. So like if you're local to Denver and you would like to volunteer for bingo night, Mark would love that. Click here to volunteer for bingo. But like for April camp, for example, if you're interested, then you can click it. You can sign up here. It'll bring you to the Sign Up Genius page. Also down here, you can look at it. If you're interested, you have no idea what you want to do, say, I am an engineer or I'm an architect and I build lots of things. Do you need help with props? My answer is probably going to be yes. So let me know in your interest form. And then just, some information, things like that, being able to contact us. So that is on here as well. If you have any questions, Mark and I emails at the beginning. Info email also goes to us. So if you have any information or any questions, you can send it to the info email. Like I said, I'm going to post this. I will email it out to the email list. If you got the link in general, you got my email. So I will email it out here. I will also do a Google Drive with a recording of this for all the detailed information. And I will also put it in our Facebook family page. So that way you can find it. Mark, any?
I'd just like to add that, having parents and volunteers, is really is the fuel that makes this all happen. We are a totally volunteer organization. Our board of directors are volunteers, and if you want to become involved, please jump on in. You'll be surrounded by the best volunteers in the world. Michelle said it earlier, most of you are band parents, and this is like the Super Bowl of band parentdom. It's really neat, great people. We have a couple of big projects that I'd like to get done around here if people are good, handy with tools or with a paintbrush, that we're gonna do before the Corps moves in, let me know. And I really believe that if the more you're around, the better we are as an organization. And even if it's just to support us from the stands, the better we are as an organization. You're always welcome. And, your young adult has done something really special and brave to be a part of this. And, your opportunity to share this with them is always here. And as a parent, I know the value of sharing with your child. And I know that especially, we can do so much to make their experience better. So you're always welcome. Thank you, Michelle, for all your time putting this together, and we should open it up for any more questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free. You can unmute yourself or you can put them in the chat. Mark and I have tried to answer most of them as they've kind of come up. Any other questions? If you don't have any questions, you are more than welcome to release. I know we try to keep it under an hour. We ended up an hour and 20. Not too bad, I guess. But please, if you have any questions, things like that, reach out to us. We want to answer. We want to make sure that you have all the information needed. So thank you guys for coming, and we will see your performers soon.
Yay. Good night,
Oh,
everybody.
someone asked earlier, parent app available like band. We do not currently have a parent app available. Your performer does use Slack, and for all of their communication things. Right now, currently what we have is going to be our Facebook page. It has been a little quiet, so far, but I promise you, as soon as we get started, you will see me every day. So we will provide as much information as we can on the Facebook. I will make sure that anyone who joins the page, and if you are pending, I will make sure our communications social media person just got back from a beautiful trip in Argentina. So I'm sure that she is going to be able to make sure everyone gets into that page for you. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. If there are no more questions, we will. Oh, hold on. Yeah, if you were on the Facebook page last year, this is a different page that is going to be more able to cater to things that pertain to this season. So make sure that you join the 2024. I mean, you can also search for it. It's the 2024 Blue Knights Drum and Bugle Corps Family is the name of it.
Rachel, to answer your question, all you can afford is what your member will say. So, but really, we will keep them alive. Even on free days, we'll put out. You want to make some sandwiches and bring it along with you. But some people will come home with entirely new wardrobes. Others aren't so lucky, so it's hard to really give you a.
I do know that drum majors in the past have said like maybe 1 to 200, and that is completely for fun money. Like Mark said, even on free days when they're on their own for most of the day, we still have the option for kids to eat at the food truck, to grab a bag lunch, things like that. I personally would say no cash and have a card if possible, just because things go missing. So if it's possible to have some kind of card, I know that a handful of performers last year even had like a Venmo account that their parents put money in for them, and you can just get a Venmo card. And so that way, super simple just to have that. They can use it for laundry days, all that kind of stuff. So that would be what I suggest. Okay. Well, thank you guys. I'm going to let everybody go. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.